So recently I've been doing a lot of thinking about the roster size of Jump Force, because at the end of the day that's the big reason most of us are buying this game, the roster. That and along with a few other things, but the main thing is absolutely the roster. I'm not going to be speculating about what characters are going to be in the game in this video, I'm just going to be speculating purely about the roster size. Let's go back to July. In July, the game was revealed along with a few characters, and then they announced the Bleach roster in the same month. So all the characters we got in July were as followed: Ichigo, Aizen, Rukia, Goku, Naruto, Luffy, Frieza, Zoro, and Sasuke. In August, we got quite a few characters as well. We got Blackbeard, Hisoka, Gon, Sabo, Sanji, Vegeta, and Creator Character. In September, we got Killua, Kurapika, Yusuke, Toguro, and Yugimoto. In October, which only has 2 days left, which I'm assuming there's not going to be a character reveal in the next 2 days, we got 2 Saint Seiya characters, a City Hunter character, and Kenshiro. On an average, as long as we discard the first month of July where they initially announced the game, which of course they're going to have more reveals there, we end up with about an average of 4 characters. If we take that throughout November, December, January, and February, and we pretend that we're going to have an average of 4 characters, well then that leaves us with exactly 40 characters. 40 characters is a very solid number. I think what we'll probably end up getting is somewhere around 42, 41, because of course the 4 number that I'm extrapolating is only an average. And on top of that, it's not even a real average. The real average would technically be 5, if you don't include the first month, because of course the first month was the reveal of the game, but the reason I'm going with the average of 4 is because there was big events going on between the first 2 months. We had Gamescom, we had E3, we had really big moments to reveal more of the roster, which they're not going to have as many in the future other than Jump Festa at the end of the year. So excluding anomalies like that, expect around 4 characters a month. It would also be nice to have exactly 41 characters on the main roster, because the 9 DLC would equal exactly 50 characters, which would be nice symbolism for the 50th anniversary of Shonen Jump. Some people might look at a 50 character roster and think, wow, that's not very big for what we're looking for, or even a 40 character roster. And this is what I've been saying for a few months now. When I made my video about why I was worried about the Jump Force roster, I had a lot of people come out and be noticeably upset about that, and I completely understand. But when you look at these numbers, it's hard to imagine a roster much larger than 40 characters, unless you think that there's going to be characters in the game who won't be announced before the release of the game, but that seems really unlikely, because why would they do that? It makes more sense to announce characters because that drives sales. It's the same reason why Smash doesn't have secret characters anymore. It's the same reason they reveal their characters before the release of the game. I think when they were building this game from the ground up and they realized how technical it was and how much development time it was going to take for each character, I think they decided to implement Creator Character as a way to kind of retroactively combat the problem of having a smaller roster when we all want all of these shonen characters. It's funny that in Arena Fighters I'm allowed to say that 40 characters is a small roster because we're used to games like Storm having hundreds, well not hundreds, but triple digit amounts of characters. But 40 is by no means a small roster. I'm happy with 40. Now unfortunately, when you start trying to make predictions off of that 40 character roster, you start to realize that there's going to be a lot of characters that you want to see in the game who aren't going to be in the game. For example, I've said in the past I'm worried about Deku or Asta, these kind of newer anime characters, not showing up on the main roster, and I think that that's going to be true. I think that we might end up getting them as DLC. Again, I don't know, I have no way of knowing, it's just when I look at these numbers, it's hard for me to imagine characters like Hiei showing up in the game. It's hard for me to imagine characters like Bakugo or All Might showing up. There are so few characters left to be revealed for this game, and when you start adding up all the characters we want to see and all the franchises we want to see and all the different characters from those franchises, you start to realize that your roster looks much larger than you initially thought it would. For example, I just laid out a list of all the most popular characters just to see what that roster size would look like, and I ended up with 75. That is a significantly larger roster than I think we're going to end up getting. I really do hope I'm wrong about this one, but it just seems like every time I look at the roster, I look at the pace that we're getting characters, it's hard to imagine a roster much larger than 40. So for now, moving forward, I think the best course of action is to assume that we're going to get 40 characters at launch. For people unaware, we've got 24 characters already revealed to us. I've already mentioned them in this video. And so far, there's a really wide range of characters who have been announced. We got a lot of One Piece characters, We only got a couple Naruto characters, but there's a large variety of series that have been announced. Yugimoto's in the game, City Hunter is in the game, Kenshiro is in the game, Saint Seiya is in the game, Hunter x Hunter is in the game. I'm hoping we're gonna get so much more, and I think I'm gonna start doing more individual videos on things I would like to see in the game, as opposed to doing more broad predictions. But I thought it would be best to put out this kind of roster size prediction first, so that we have an idea of what type of map I'm working with here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it all, or you found it informative, or you just kind of enjoyed the discussion, I'd appreciate a like on the video. It helps other people find it. If you're new around here, subscribe, and let me know in the comments that you're new around here. I had so many new people jumping on board to my channel with the One's Justice content I've been making, and it really does put a smile on my face when I see those comments saying, hey, I subscribed just for this series. Job well done, keep it up. That stuff is really encouraging. My name is Mabilbzy, and I will see you in the next video.